I was writing songs to get signed as an artist. But none of the labels were trying to do that. They didn't think I had the look. They didn't think I was a star. So that was out the window. I don't know if it's because, I looked Middle Eastern or something. I don't know what the vibe was. It could be something like that. We don't know, right? This is not something I can pinpoint. But I knew that it was a lot of pushback. Oh, no, he's not. I always heard that. He doesn't look like a star. You don't look good. You don't look good. You don't have the look. Something about that. It's constantly was the problem.
Okay.
Nothing to do with music. Oh, but we love your music. Can we take your song and for this artist or that artist? At some point I said, you know what? Why not? Let's make some money. Let's maybe grow the bank,
Yes.
and grow. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
As a songwriter.
And start. That's why it was so important for the look when I mentioned,
Yes.
because I was behind the scenes and no one really I was like this writer. I remember one time just working in the studio in the summer and working with this other producer who, was a huge producer, and it was at his house, and he was outside with girls and having fun, and they were at the pool, and I could see them, but I was in the basement just working away, just editing for, making money. And I'm like, man, I feel like not Cinderella, you know what I'm saying? Like the one who's treated stepsisters, kind of thing. That's what I kind of felt like the Black Swan or whatever.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel right, but it was life, and I had to deal with it. And that's kind of why I felt at some point, once I grew the bank, if you will, made more money, had a bit more accolades as a producer, songwriter,
Yeah.
I was like, khalas, no more producing for other artists. I'm doing it for Karl Wolf. This is when I created Face Behind the Face.
Yes.
Because I am the face behind the face. Because
Yes.
you don't know these hits that I'm making is from me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special episode of القصة podcast. It's in English, obviously, but that's not the reason why it's special. It's special because I'm interviewing one of my all-time favorite artists, Karl Wolf, songwriter, producer, singer, musician. Karl Wolf is very well known for his style of blending pop and R&B music with Middle Eastern and Arabic elements and introducing certain instruments like oud and darabeka in his songs. And he created some amazing songs over the years, like Africa, Toto's Africa, but he remixed it in such a way that it became more of Karl Wolf's Africa. And Yalla Habibi in recent years as well, that did really well for him. And recently, one of the biggest hits that he created that reached 7 billion streams on TikTok, that's crazy, by the way, which is Yeah Habibi, which is an inspiration by Usher's Yeah, the original one, but again he made it kind of like Karl Wolf's Yeah, which is a huge success for him. And that's actually one of the things we talked about was how platforms like TikTok, for example, changing that music industry and how they're influencing artists in that relationship with their audiences, and that's how this is a great way and a great tool for an artist to continue to be relevant and reinvent themselves. We also talked with Karl about his roots and beginnings, starting in the Middle East, between Lebanon and the UAE, and then moving to Canada, and those early family influences and how they shaped his ear and direction to be able to create this, amazing music that he does. We also talked about the first album for Karl, which is Face Behind the Face, one of my favorite albums actually ever. And the songwriting on that album was amazing, and the sound he created was very unique, and it sounded like himself from the beginning. We talked about songwriting and creating that unique sound. How do you, as an artist, starting from different roots, starting in Canada, can do something like that and make it reach the whole world? This episode is very inspiring for me. I enjoyed it so much. I hope you get the same thing. Karl is very full of energy when he talks, and he's very positive and very humble, and very easy to talk to. And you get that energy. That energy kind of just gets to you when he's speaking. So this episode is in English, obviously. You just need to activate the closed captions if you want the subtitles in a different language. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us. And also, you'll get the latest episodes that we put out from القصة podcast. And now, let us learn what is the story, or شنو القصة with Karl Wolf?
Hey, yeah, baby. Man. Dubai, man, I had my the shisha yesterday. I was tasting it, for the first time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You don't smoke
I
shisha?
don't, not at all. But now I do.
But you don't smoke in general?
No.
Okay.
I try to conserve my voice.
Karl, sorry, yesterday you were telling me, can we say this? Can we say your age?
Maybe.
You're-
Yeah, 46.
You're 40. You look amazing for 46.
Thank you.
You're shredded. It's brilliant.
Thank you, Habibi.
Yeah.
Means a
But from
lot.
the beginning, you were like that.
You know what, man? I've been training for, I think muscle memory is so important, and muscle mass, building muscle mass. Like I really take it seriously.
Yeah.
I have a personal trainer in Toronto, and wallah, man, it's the best because with age you lose muscle mass. So the more that you work out from when you're younger, the better.
100%.
And I think I've kept that for 20 years. I've had a personal trainer. It's so important. And
I know,
46 years old, I could be even better probably, but I'm also 46. Like there's limits to.
You're always full of energy on stage, in the video clips, on your videos, in your story. You always got that. Is that you in real life?
You know what? As long as I'm not traveling and there's a lot of jet lag, I'll be fine. I usually do have a lot of energy, thank God. Alhamdulillah, because ultimately, man, energy is success. The more you give something, the more you put energy into it, the more you'll receive. I've always thought that with people, with business, with family, with friendships, and I've used that motto my whole life. And I thank God that I had a lot of energy as a kid too. People always thought, oh, you can't stay still. I'm like, thank God, because the older you get, obviously you slow down.
Yeah.
So now I think I'm at my prime. I'm
Amazing.
slow enough, fast enough. In fact, I do this. I don't know if you guys heard of this thing called Lumosity.
No.
Lumosity. It's like a brain game.
Okay.
It's a brain app. And I kind of compete on it and whatnot. And you just it tests everything from attention to speed, flexibility, to math, to everything. And man, I don't know what's going on, but you have to put your age in there. And I'm 98.5 to 99% faster than anyone in my age group on all levels.
That's amazing.
So I don't know what I'm drinking, what I'm doing. Maybe it's everything. Maybe it's physical fitness too, man. That all the blood pumping everywhere. I'm blessed, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, because that's what I notice actually. Everywhere is always the energy you bring. Even right now, I can feel it. Though you're traveling later, so thank you so much
Of course, thank
for
you for
making the
having
time. I know it's a short trip for you because you came to Dubai and you were celebrating the success of your video. Is 7.2 already? 7.2 billion.
It's actually 7.13 billion. But khalas, we rounded off enough with the. We can't say 7.13. Some people are like 7.9. I'm like, Habibi, no, don't go over it. We can go by a little bit. So 7.2 billion. We'll
Guys,
on TikTok.
7.2 billion views on TikTok.
Yeah.
Streams, uses, everybody's using
From the song.
From the song.
Sah.
Which is Yeah Habibi.
Habibi mix.
Sah?
It's the Habibi mix.
It's the Habibi mix, right?
But it's the Usher version of Yeah, but I turned it into Arabic and Middle Eastern style. وYalla. Let's go. Up in the club with my homies, trying to get a little VI. Get down in the low key. You know how it feels. Conversation got heavy. She got me feeling like she's ready to blow. Watch out.
But before we talk about the
Yeah.
success of this amazing story, what's with you and reinventing these songs? You did it before with Africa back in, what was it, 2008, 9?
Yep.
And now
2008,
and that song like just blew off the charts.
It was number 1 in 20 different countries around the world.
I
It was
remember.
crazy. It created my career, to be honest.
I remember, and that was the second album, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
So the first song that actually hit was Butterflies.
Yes.
So what's interesting is when I first went into music, it was all about, being in North America and Canada and in the States and how do I break, right? I'm a
Yes.
guy who's born in Beirut, Lebanon, left because of the civil war. I was 3 years old. We went to Dubai. My parents got a job there and I grew up in Dubai. Graduated high school, went to study in Canada, went to university in Montreal. I studied film studies and minored in childhood psychology. So I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. But I knew that I love entertainment. Once I started trying to figure out the music industry, I loved music. My parents were musicians. I was trying to figure out how do I break the North American market. And just right away, as a kind of a business, I'm always business minded and artist. I like both because I feel like people want to have fun with life. It can't always be too serious. There's so much seriousness, Muhannad, in this world. And there's got to be certain people that not fight against that, but at least cover that ugliness, of sometimes war, of some, especially in North America, the way Arabic people, the way Middle Eastern people are viewed is not exactly because of the media, or traditional media. It doesn't make us look very good. And that always bothered me, being Lebanese, being Arabic, seeing that my parents' tongue is Arabic, my tongue is Arabic. I speak obviously 3 languages, English, French, and Arabic. Arabic was my second language, believe it or not. English was my first because we went to Shweifat and they taught us English. It was a British system school, but we still had to do our, Arabic, my qawaid, my insha, my goodness, like I had to really go in on it. It was tough. It wasn't easy. Yeah, right? It's like, so, but part of it was, how do I, change the way people think in North America about Arabic people? This was a very big, important step for me. And I started my studies. I started like, how do I figure this thing out? I started researching my mom's oud collection and Derbeki collection. My dad's used to play the oud as well. So it was all these influences that my parents had, and all the new style influences from hip hop and R&B. I was like, man, nobody's doing this. And this was before Masari. This was like Masari at the time, who's a great guy, was I would hear about him from people when I put out a certain song, which I'll talk about.
Yeah.
So remember, I'm in the dark. We don't know about, he's not out yet. I'm doing my thing, but we're kind of bubbling at the same time. I don't know about him. He doesn't know about me. But for some reason, I guess I wanted to blend East and West together. And I was like, what is this kind of thing? Because we had no one to look to, we had no one to look to. The closest that it came at the time was Desert Rose by Sting. Sting.
True.
And that, and Aisha with Khalid, and what, it was Algerian thing. It was like, but it wasn't English. It wasn't like hip hop, R&B. It wasn't anything in North America, right? It was more European. But that influence, I was like, how do I do this? So I had to research back and forth and figure it out. And I came up with Butterflies. That was a total, like, I'm like, you know what? It was an epiphany moment. I'm like, why don't I use the da Arabi, that literally the I always used to hear from my parents, simple, typical. And why don't I mix some pop, R&B stuff? I don't know if it's going to work.
You're playing, right?
I was playing, I'm experimenting, I'm having fun. And then I put it together. I'm like, man, no one's going to like this. I put it out. Like I shot the video. I believed in it so much because I was so proud, man. I'm so proud.
I love that video.
To be like from both worlds, like putting my foot here and then, but showing people how beautiful the culture is, man, from the food to the music it's something that North Americans don't know, and they'll never know if it's done only with Arabic. It has to be a blend in order for us to bridge the gap, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, man, because this means a lot to me. This was my whole plight as a musician, beyond just music. And I didn't know it was going to work. But I put Butterflies out finally online.
That was the first single from Face Behind the Face, right?
Yeah, and back then, we didn't have social media. So we had a thing called message boards. So this was our first connection to fans and stuff, a message board. And so I had my team put a message board together. So YALLA, with message boards, you just type in, man, the song just went like wildfire. That song. In Egypt, huge. Lebanon, people are like, what is this? Dubai.
It went really huge.
Really, and on radio too.
I was here. It was 2007, blew up.
Amazing.
On radio, on every, they used to do the Virgin stores used to do those CDs.
That's it.
Were like the best hits or best 10 hits or something. It was
now,
like the second,
7,
something
10,
like
whatever,
this. It was there.
I remember that. Yeah. And so that was the first interesting introduction to the message board and the social media style, which meant that people from all over the world, Muhannad, started writing me, started saying like one-liners, two-liners, who's this guy? What is this? Oh my God, I love it. I can't believe it. Like, it was such a unique, man, it's like, how did I do that, man? If I look back right now, you're making me go back in time. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because I'm like, how did I do that? I don't even know.
And can I just say something? I am your biggest fan.
Habibi.
And when you dropped that album in 2006, I was still in Iraq, and I listened to it back in my home city. It was a
Wow.
small town. And I listened to that album. And back then, not many people spoke English, and like my friends or anything. And I was listening to this different music.
Right.
It was you, and it was Misari, it was
Right.
Justin Timberlake, and everybody else. And I'm listening to this amazing stuff, and I'm looking at the songwriting, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I was like, what the hell is this?
Wow.
And then I got in touch with you, I think, first in 2008 or 2009, after Bite the Bullet.
Right.
And you replied kindly, thank you so much, on Facebook at the time. And that's something you do, I think, very well. We connected with the fans, and obviously we connected later. And you were speaking about the culture. I'm still full from yesterday's shawarma, by the way. We went to the best shawarma place
Love
yesterday.
shawarma.
Hanging out with Karl Wolf yesterday to get in the shawarma joint was an experience, by the way. It was so good.
It's everything to me.
It was so good. But there's a couple of things that you mentioned from your the things you said earlier. You said you experimented, but I was reading yesterday on the internet. I was reading something that said you did not experiment. You wanted to be effective, and it worked for you.
You're right.
During the time, but in the mid 2000s, the sound that came out, you kind of like you rode that wave into the same sound and creating your own unique sound.
Right.
But yes, maybe you experimented before putting that out, but
Right.
then you used you matched the time.
Right.
Does it make sense?
I didn't do it on purpose, though. Like, you got to understand. I remember the moment that someone came up to me and said, Masari, did you hear about this guy, Masari? I had done Butterflies already. So Butterflies was already out, was already moving, when someone for the first time said, hey, there's another guy, kind of like you, Lebanese, Canadian, that's doing something. Have you seen it? And he's got a song with Loon or something like that. I'm like, no, I never heard of it. And then I heard it. So literally, I'm not saying we were the first. I'm saying it's incredible how the movement was that, and without even knowing. Like, remember, it was an empty pathway. It's a blank canvas. There was no beacon of light to look to. Like, let's be like him.
Yeah.
We were I'm making music, man, but with a purpose.
Yeah.
And we felt it maybe at the same time or whatever it was. It was really weird.
It's amazing. Do you feel you paved the way for somebody else, but not many people? And I mean, in the scene in Canada, were there any artists who tried to kind of follow your path in the same music?
Not
I
at
didn't
all.
see them.
Not at all.
You still kind of got that unique
kind
thing
of pop
about
R&B blend with that
Yes.
thing. No, not many people. Some people did in time. We had, and I love Fady, Fady as well from Australia. There was another guy called Ramsey after us as well. So there was a couple of things, but now it's like, it's so popular. Like, Arabic music in kind of North American fields is very popular now.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of rappers and like, yumma, yumma, yumma. Like, you got some cool things going on. I love that stuff. And, I feel kind of proud that maybe we helped in opening the doors to something like that, because we didn't have anything to look to. So it was nice to be maybe looked at as, in time, I could see it being a form of a pioneer moment, it's cool.
But I just want to comment on something also you mentioned earlier, that is when you wanted to take that influence, I think you did it through art, because you're always positive. You never like, I follow you closely on what you do. You never say something hateful. You never say, always positive, always full of energy, always kind of, spread love. And you're even in songwriting, I think, guys are allowed to be romantic, right?
Yep.
What the hell are you writing in songs like Princess and like Stranger in My Bed and Jealous, and these songs are amazing like that.
You're right.
So the songwriting, is that like a craft, or is it like a skill, or is it something like you feel it and then it flows out?
You know what? There's no school for studying how to write a song, right? You just you listen to what's out there. You kind of learn from people. You learn from the greatest, and you try to feel it and put it in your music. I think at the time, what's great is that the beginning of your career, you're more authentic. The beginning of my career, if I go to songs from the beginning, maybe they weren't written the best. Maybe they weren't produced, because I produced all my stuff. I've always been behind all my productions. And people would tell me, why are you doing that? There's so many great producers that you can work with, and you don't have to do that. I found it like, I tried it. I tried getting other producers to help me. What ends up happening is it's not as true and authentic for me. I'm a guy who luckily I can play, because my mom was a piano teacher, so I play the piano, I play the drums, I play the bass. I have knowledge for all the instruments. So I kind of built it in a way where I'm in control of this art. And I noticed when I did all that, it worked much better. It was more pure of a message to the fan, as opposed to getting some production from somewhere else. And it confuses maybe, people feel things, man. We're all like this aura, and we can sense when something's a little bit off or when something is nailing it, and that's what Butterflies was. It was a total like connecting the dots. Like, my goodness, it was literally east and west. It was me.
You were signed with a label at the time for the first albums, right?
Butterflies made that happen.
Oh, so you did it independently, and then it got you
because
the
of
record.
Butterflies, because of the hoopla and the excitement all on message boards and the way that it went viral those days.
No, that time.
EMI, Music Arabia,
yes,
asked about it and said, hey, can we sign you to a deal? I said, okay, let's do an album deal. So we did an album deal. We had the single, and then plus, khalas, now I had to write some songs for this album. And that's when, I always sort of had Africa like being produced in the background, because I love that song, like the original.
Yeah, totally.
So I had it being produced, but it wasn't, remember, it was not in the Arabic sound. So I was going on this Arabic sound thing. So I sort of went there with the Dubai deal.
Yeah.
But man, when Africa came about, it was a crossover, right? It was like, it's like all we needed was a little bit of a bass, to say, who's this artist, unique bass, and then you can build and put a hit on top, like a real monster worldwide hit, right?
Yeah.
It's different when you're niching and when you're, a global hit.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about this. How does an artist break out internationally like you did? How do you do it?
Man, the way it happened to me, listen, all these things you guys got to remember is that it was unheard of to do what I was doing.
Yes.
It was, why is he doing such a like Arabic English stuff? It's unheard of. It might even I said to myself, it might not work. What is this? But I didn't care. I was like, this is beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I was going for what is awesome. And it was awesome to be, still to this day, I love mixing Arabic and English. I think it's so great because it's so unique. It's so beautiful. You have this beautiful culture that we have being Arabic. And then you have this awesome like musical history of North American R&B, pop, house music, whatever. And it's still new to bring them together. And it's not easy. It's not so. You have to know it. And I know that Al-Arabi, I know how to be Hanoun with it. I know how, I understand that because of my parents. I used to listen to all that, but not on purpose, by default, because they would listen to it.
Yeah.
But then I was interested in Boyz II Men and like all kinds of dope R&B and hip hop and Snoop Dogg, whatever.
Yeah.
And I literally bridge the gap together, and it creates this beautiful music that's so different. And who cares if it's different? Who cares if the world doesn't take it? So to answer your question, how do we make it a global hit?
Yeah.
It's got to be, you got to have the bed for it, and then you got to create a hit that's a little bit more crossover. The key is crossover appeal. A hit is hitting the young, hitting the old, hitting the mom, it connects to everyone. Yeah. That's what Africa was. Africa was the daughter and the mom going to school arguing about who this song was for. Was it Toto that made it? Was it Karl Wolf that made it?
Right.
And they would argue. And that argument created some interest and spark. So it has to be a total crossover appeal in order to be a hit, global hit.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I want to ask you something. I'm going to read some of your lyrics.
Perfect.
Writing hits is something I've earned, something highly of me. It's just my turn. Don't get it twisted, kid. I'm not in it for the money or something for the honeys. I got a need to freak you out. Peeps at the show. Peeps at the show. What? Peeps at the show. What I'm about. I spit hooks. I want to focus on this. Yeah. Since the day you flipping books, and now I have a deal because I created a look. My album's dropping now. This one's for all the cats that doubt. Just watch the Wolf take over much.
Wow.
And yes, ladies, you can touch. It's like a dream come true to me. Yeah, I'm a new face on TV. But been in this game behind the scenes, and I'm coming out for the whole world to see.
Wow.
What the hell were you thinking?
Was that the song?
This is no.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah. What was it called? The Wolf or something? The Wolf.
Face behind the face.
Oh, Face Behind the Face.
Face behind the face.
Face Behind the Face.
Yes.
Okay, of course.
Yeah.
That was the album title. So, okay, my career when I started in Canada, I was. This was part of, you see, this was the push and pull. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm remembering. I started off as a writer and producer when I was in Montreal.
I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. What is
this
that?
was behind the scenes.
Yes. What is it?
The reason being is because I was writing songs to get signed as an artist, but none of the labels were trying to do that. They didn't think I had the look. They didn't think I was a star. So that was out the window. I don't know if it's because, I looked Middle Eastern or something. I don't know what the vibe was. It could be something like that. We don't know, right? This is not something I can pinpoint, but I knew that it was a lot of pushback. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, I always heard that. He doesn't look like a star. You don't look good. You don't look good. You don't have the look. Something about that. It's constantly was the problem.
Okay.
Nothing to do with music. Oh, but we love your music. Can we take your song and for this artist or that artist? At some point I said, you know what? Why not? Let's make some money. Let's maybe grow the bank,
Yes.
and grow. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
As a songwriter.
And start. That's why it was so important for the look when I mentioned,
Yes.
because I was behind the scenes and no one really I was like this writer. I remember one time just working in the studio in the summer and working with this other producer who, was a huge producer. And it was at his house and he was outside with girls and having fun, and they were at the pool and I could see them, but I was in the basement just working away, just editing for, making money. And I'm like, man, I feel like not Cinderella, you know what I'm saying? Like the one who's treated stepsisters, kind of thing. That's what I kind of felt like, the Black Swan or whatever.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel right, but it was life, and I had to deal with it. And that's kind of why I felt at some point, once I grew the bank, if you will, made more money, had a bit more accolades as a producer, songwriter.
Yeah.
I was like, khalas, no more producing for other artists. I'm doing it for Karl Wolf. This is when I created Face Behind the Face.
Yes.
Because I am the face behind the face. Because
Yes.
you don't know these hits that I'm making is from me. And other people would take, I would make the money from it, but other people would get the
Yeah, you were like the underdog.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely.
were producing hits for those others.
That's it. So
And now it's your break after that EMI deal.
exactly. So
Yeah.
right before that album, I remember it was Star Academy #1, the Star Academy one. So it's a TV show, kind of like American
The
Idol.
one in Lebanon.
No, this was in
Canada.
Quebec, Quebec.
Okay.
So I had produced and written the first single of that show, the TV show, with the partner that we were writing, and it became a hit. It became a huge hit. It was #1 on the radio there. It was crazy. So Star Academy, the show became a hit. We had 500,000 albums sold from like my songs that were on there as well. And that we had the first single. It was called Je veux changer le monde, which means in French, I want to change the world. And I remember we were at the stadium, 27,000 people, and they were performing. It was a Star Academy performance.
Yep.
The last song, they end with my song, Je veux changer le monde. The whole stadium, I went to watch it. I had the badge to go, backstage, but I didn't. I wanted to watch the show. So I was watching amongst all the kids and everybody was watching it. And I remember when they performed it, the whole stadium stood up and everybody started singing my song, man. And this song I wrote in a little tiny studio with my partner, you know what I mean? And these words came from me, this feeling, this melody. And dude, I was like shocked. I was like, nobody knows it's me. Nobody knows that this Lebanese guy grew up in Dubai, who is Canadian now, was part of this. They're all singing and the whole thing. I'm like, wow, I have to change this.
Yeah.
We have to somehow be recognized for this movement.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was in awe that look what I did. Look what we can do. We can change the world by just the pen.
Mixed feeling.
And that's when I wrote Face Behind the Face. I'm like, you know what? No more. We're doing this. I'm writing my album. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be different, and I have to be fresh. I don't want to be like Justin Timberlake. I don't want to be like Usher. I don't want to be like those guys. I'm going to figure out my own sound, and it took me a while. And it was, man, it took me years. It took me a year and a half of like, I can't believe it. I don't spend that much time anymore making music. I don't. TikTok world, we don't do that.
No.
You see my 4 a.m. vibes, man. It takes me 10 minutes to make a song.
Yeah, no, I see that. It's crazy.
Maybe because of the you know, I've learned how to do it, you know, fast. But still, man, I took so much time, you know, and that it's like a Rolls Royce, man. It was made with my hands, you know.
So with the change that TikTok brings, how did that affect the industry, artists? Do you think the artists are just doing it now quickly, like you mentioned, or do you think artists should kind of take their time and produce something like they used to? Because just I want to give you an example. Body Talk, that's Karl Wolf, which is the second last song I think you released. Yeah. I'm listening to the sound. That's the original sound, Karl Wolf. Yeah. And then you got Yeah Habibi. Yeah. That's kind of like, you know, trendy kind of thing. Yeah. So what is it with what do you think happened with TikTok, and what should artists, you know, what's the approach?
It makes me really sad. I'll tell you why it makes me really sad. Because imagine working a year on your album and on your song today, in this day and age, and then you put it out and nobody cares. Because the way the algorithm works, man, it's a whole science, man. And I've been studying. I love technology. I'm always, every time something new comes up, I'm always on it quick. Look, we've got 500,000 followers on TikTok. We have, you know, 300,000, whatever, on Instagram. We have, I move with it. I don't want to be that guy that doesn't, you know, look at technology and say, it's not for me. I'm an old dinosaur. No, man, be like the young. Because the young are creating their world. This is their world we live in now. The Gen Z, it's their world we're living in. We're dinosaurs. Like, I'm 46 years old. If I don't move and go young and understand why they're doing that, khalas, your game is over. Now, of course, some people tell me, you know, with the songs that I make that are fast and whatever that go, people, I've seen comments, you know, like on for example, Habibi mix. Oh, this is so not original. You know, why are you doing, you know, you can get your haters, but guess what? Africa had haters too. But that made my career. That gave me that made me help my family make a living and support a lot of people from an idea like that. So do I do it for money? Absolutely not. But I do understand the algorithms. I do understand how TikTok is being used as a marketing tool for free, but it needs to be catchy. It needs to be hooky. It needs to be quick. It needs to be different. It's not easy to do, man. It's not easy to do, but alhamdulillah, I don't know why. We keep doing it, man. Yeah. We keep doing it. We keep winning, man. It's like millions of views, millions, billions. Like, and it's not the first time. I'm not telling people. There's another song I have that has 19 billion. This is not I'm hiding that. I didn't tell people about it.
Hang on, which song is that?
It's this one is Speaking English.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
That one has 19 billion, spawned 19 billion views. I don't tell people this because I want to gradually grow. People are, it's like, what do you mean 7 billion? That's BS. That's not a real number. I'm like, we see our numbers from our distributors. It's not, it's the concept of this 7 billion is coming from my song. So the song that I made, which is the Yeah Habibi mix, it spawns because of it made 2.7 million creations from it. And all those views are all counted to my song. And we monetize that through TikTok music. I did it. I can explain the strategy behind it for artists if they want to win this way. I'll give them the gold. I'll give them the secret. It's a simple secret.
Go ahead.
Are we? Because this is like gems right here.
Absolutely, please.
Ready for it?
Yeah.
You put a song out. Let's say you wrote a song, just like I do at 4 a.m. Vibes. Some of them work. Some of them don't. Many of them don't. That means they don't go viral. 3,000 views, 4,000 views, 2,000 views. Nobody cares. Are they bad songs? No. All my songs that I make, I think are dope. They could all be great.
Yeah.
It's not up to me. It's not up to you as an artist to decide what is going to be loved. It's not your job. Your job is to take God's and the universe's power and channel it and makes an art piece, and the people will feel if it's right for the time. Music is so strange that way. It's think of it like you're a car driving. That's not what music is. Music is not even a plane. more like a spaceship in space. It can go anywhere at any time, and you have to really find the way, the path to the goal. A car is going on a one path because it's going on that road. That's not what music is. Music is this, so it's magic. It's really magic by the relationship between what succeeds and what doesn't. Now, going back to TikTok, what's important is how you get, okay, so this is the gem, right?
Yep.
This is the gem. You produce the song, you have a song, and it goes viral, okay? That song that went viral, what we did was release it immediately. So I called Pascal, my manager, and I said, Paso, Yeah Habibi mix that I did is gone. It hit 2 million views in 1 day or 2 days. We've got something. Let's be smart about it. Let's put it out. Usually when you put a song out, you need 3 weeks in advance for Spotify and Apple Music.
Right.
We didn't do that because they ask you for 3 weeks so that you could be on playlists, so you could be on editorial playlists that have like good following, New Music Friday, et cetera, because you want people to hear your music. I didn't care about that. I said, you know what? It's going viral. Who cares about those things? In fact, they might not even give it New Music Friday because it's so quirky and it's not exactly a song. It's a remake with a remix, and it's quirky, but that's what music is. It's whatever moves the needle. Anyway, so we put it out 2-3 days later. When we put it out, it's officially there on Spotify. It's officially there on TikTok Music. What I did was I remake the video with maybe a different look, whatever, same video, but instead of doing the music live right there, I substitute it with using the sound of my sound that's out there, so it gets monetized. That is the one that I'm praying goes viral.
Right.
And it did.
Amazing.
And then so everybody using that goes to that, and that's money. That's all charging money. Boom.
So you have to know when to kind of release it again. The moment, there's a moment.
You cannot wait too long. You shouldn't care about the 3 week thing. Do it 3 days, 4 days, and then use that sound. Remake your thing by using that sound, and make sure that sound is exactly, because you have to make a snippet of a minute. Use the exact same snippet that you used, and then remake it, and then khalas from there on, and hope that it goes viral again. But technically, it should. Because if everyone's loving it, that means it made sense, and then you monetize. Because it's all about surviving as an artist,
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
But when I was researching, also, I found that you always kind of know how to find the moment, even in the beginning, even with Africa.
Yeah,
you were like, oh, that's the moment. This is the sound that should be for this moment.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do that. I think I am a feeler of vibes. No, because I'm a little more sensitive to. People always tell me, I have friends of mine. They're always like, why would you keep? I've heard this. Why would you keep your this guy who, who works with you but he's not good, or he's a musician but he's not, and he's always being delinquent, or why are you keeping these guys? Like, I've heard that before. People talk in your ear. Why are you keeping? When they're not doing, you can get better, you can do better, you can do better. Everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
I've never been that guy. And there's a point I'm trying to make here. I feel that you have to appreciate I'm very sensitive to every single thing out there. I understand that the universe is not, I'm not the king of it. And really, I'm the king of my world, but I am a piece of this world it's like a highways of like energies, and I'm just being part of it, and I have to understand that. So to me, the relationship between the universe and myself is very awake. You understand? And I think with that comes maybe a knowledge about feeling people, like understanding a crowd and just being like, okay, I think this could work. I could feel this. I'm very sensitive to it. That's it. Yeah. So I try that because it's coming from a good place. And maybe people feel like, listen, I'm not always 100% on it, man. It's like the percentages, but it doesn't matter. I keep trying. I've got so much energy that maybe I'll write 100 songs and one will hit. That's all you need is one. But are you ready to work 100 times not working and not winning and crying in your bed because nobody cares? I don't care. I did it.
That's very humble of you. And I think you suspend your ego and keep it somewhere else. And you just, you just work and you feel that energy. You have a feeling for it. I want to ask you about your voice. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the Arab world, when somebody is born, is blessed with a good voice, he's already like it's from God, right?
Absolutely.
But for the Western music, you can actually learn it. You can learn the techniques, and that's why I think, just my observation again, correct me if I'm wrong. The voices of the Western musicians, singers, it's different than each other, but you find similarities between in the Arab world. For example, in Iraq, I have many of my friends, they kind of sound similar to each other. So, but
Amazing.
your voice, what was it? Were you like born with it? Did you develop your voice? Because I love your voice. It's amazing.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Not at all. I wasn't born with it. I definitely learned it. And I definitely listened to the best of the best Boyz II Men.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest singers, Luther Vandross.
Yes.
Brian McKnight. So I would play piano and sing. I learned it. I learned the riffs. I learned everything. I was definitely not born with it, because I agree with you. Arabic singers,
Yes.
100% that's from God.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, the way that they can sing like that. I can't do that. I try to emulate. I can feel a little bit of it, but my God, no way am I close to that. So I definitely learned. I have a musical ability, my mom was a piano teacher. So I would ear train by default. Like when I was doing homework, she's teaching someone, I'm ear training by default. So I'm learning notes and I'm understanding what a perfect key is. In time, I guess I developed that.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And I learned.
Can I just say I'm a little bit jealous?
Man, honestly, I'm lucky because of that moment, So she was a big part of that. And, my brothers I've got two brothers, and they're both musically inclined. They're not both in music, Actually, my younger brother is starting to be, but my older brother's not. He's a robotics engineer. So,
right.
But they're all have that thing, Yeah. And I realized when I was in school, growing up, most of my friends didn't have it. So I thought always that everyone has this because my family has it. So I'm thinking, yalla, everyone knows how to sing. And I'm like, man, your rhythm is really bad. And you can't sing? What do you mean? Like, I didn't get it. Why are you guys not able to sing? But I guess it is a kind of power, It was kind of cool. It was kind of just this extra thing. And I took it as, I don't know, I loved it, but I made it as a business.
Okay.
I knew that, listen, I'm a business guy too. I've got left brain, right brain style, so I use that. Listen, you can't be a successful artist without being a businessman.
But so you started to sing then without maybe passive training.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start to sing. But how do you hit those high notes, man? I was like, it's that must take training.
I think a lot of training, a lot of listening, and a lot of studying the greats. That's what I did. So I would listen and I would riff with them and I would sing along, things like that. I always tell, new musicians to always kind of like sing along with some of your favorite artists, because then you can get their riffs. Some American, North American singers are fantastic. Like, come on, like some of the greater singers, like even Celine Dion, like, Mariah Carey, Brian McKnight, phenomenal vocals. Anybody new? I don't know too many of the new. Yeah, like, there are some. Justin Bieber's a great singer, by the way. Phenomenal singer. Like actually, like great tone, great everything. So there are gifted people.
I like Justin Timberlake. Actually.
Yeah, even Justin Timberlake. Yeah, he's got a bit of a higher, whinier tone.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be May. Like, okay, but he is a great singer. When he goes the falsettos, he really nails it, So there are great singers in North America as well. And I learned from them.
Yeah, I sing along with Karl Wolf.
Man, your level is not going to be that high, unfortunately.
No, it's amazing
Habibi,
stuff. Then creating a unique sound.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me about how you did it. But what does it take an artist to create that unique sound that it sounds? But in Arabic نسميه احنا لون. اللي هو لون غنائي. When you look at for example,
colors
Furi, ولا عمرو دياب, they have, that's his line.
Right.
Recently, unfortunately, it's just a little bit of observation from my side. For example, in Iraq, many singers sound the same.
Right.
Because
their influences, that's who they looked up to. So they kind of, it's a variation of that.
Yeah. There is and it's a bit complicated there. But how do you then, as an artist, now you find that sound? And when do you know that this is it? This is how I want to sound?
I love these questions, man, because this is something I think about all the time. And I thought about that when I was younger, starting off. Super, super important to be unique. Everything hinges on that. Your success of your career is all about how unique you are. When you start in the music industry and you start as an artist, you always emulate someone else. it becomes a default. Like you want to be like Justin Timberlake. You want to be like Usher. You want to be like Brian McKnight. I'm guilty of that. I fell for that so many times. Copying. Not knowing because you think that that's what's working. How are you going to do it? We're human nature. We want some things to work. Like any business, if something is working, okay, if your hairdresser is working there, they open another 100%. Hairdresser there. Shawarma place is working, yalla, shawarma place there.
100%.
But in the music industry, it doesn't work exactly like that. You have to sort of be your own person. And that's not easy to find. That is not easy to find. There were moments, Muhannad, I didn't know what to do, man. I don't know. How would I know that Arabic fusion was gonna be the way? How would I know? I don't know. So there was a long time of researching, experimenting, and hitting a brick wall. I don't know what's going on. And then at some point, I was like, listen, nobody's caring about what I'm doing. Nobody even cares. I realized that they were better than me. The American artists are better at me at their craft than I was trying to emulate, because I'm a copy. I'm just being a copy. It's not genuine. It's not true of who I am. I am a guy who is from the Middle East, who lives in North America. This is who you are. So I had to research that back and go deep into myself and really find the strength. Imagine this. Of course, now anyone can say, yalla, I want to do that because I've seen someone do it and it worked. At the time, we have no idea. So I'm taking a big risk. I'm going with my intuition. God's speaking to me. Someone's speaking to me, telling me this is who you are. So it was very difficult. Even though it was very close to and it's maybe this far away and I couldn't see it. It took me all this way to figure out to get there. A trip to get there.
Wow.
And that is my path, right? But another artist, who knows, man? You have to do a lot of deep diving, deep search into who you are, because we want to know who you are. People want to connect to the human that you are, the unique human you are. It's not going to always work. It might not even work for a long time. But at some point, if you're a feeler of people and you kind of sense that, okay, they're not feeling my music, okay, cool. I'm the type of guy, dude, if you don't like my music, like if TikTok is not moving, if people don't care, next. A lot of people say, why? I love that song. I'm like, but the majority, they don't care. So, Anna, for me, whatever. Next. People are like, no, but I love that song. I'm like, yeah, great. But I want to move the needle. I want to make a dent. I want people to love what I'm doing. Why? Because I'm making a message. I'm trying to bridge the gap between East and West all the time. And if it's not going to get the attention, khalas, next. Now, I'm not always doing that, obviously. I make music also just for fun. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? But like Africa was for fun. And it worked too. So who knows what the move is, man?
Yeah.
I'm in space.
Yeah.
I'm flying in space, but I'm trusting the higher purpose of why I'm here on this earth.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to break it? Is it difficult like for artists from Canada maybe, or like you said, like Middle Eastern roots to break to the US? Is it more challenging?
Of
I mean,
course.
you did a lot of collaboration as well. You did with Akon. You talked with you did a collaboration with Snoop Dogg as well.
Snoop Dogg.
Yes. There's so many collaborations
Akon,
in the US.
Who else? Oh my God, Nelly.
Yes. Yes, he did a
3
song with
6 Mafia.
Yeah. 3 6 Mafia. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God.
So I've done so many collabs, man.
Yeah.
I've done so many collabs. It is very difficult. It is the hardest thing ever. It's already we're working at a disadvantage because the whole North American media is trained to not like you. Is trained to think you are weird, or not weird, but to think that you are aggressive or war mongering or something. What happens in the Middle East is a whole thing. Like so there is a stereotype. I don't want to call it racism and stuff. I don't like that term, but definitely a bias. Okay, and so that's not going to easily crack through. I thought about that when I was creating my name. My real name is Karl Abu Samah. I come from Abu Samah, from Lebanon, from Arabic roots. But I had to change it. I knew that I don't see it. I can't see it. I can't see it happening in North America. And it's not that I'm you see, I didn't abandon my roots. I didn't do that.
You didn't.
I did it in a different way. I did it because I want to bridge the gap. I understand that they will not listen to me if my name was that. Maybe they will. Maybe in time. Maybe 20 years, 30 years from now. Maybe I was wrong. but I did it in this way because knowingly I need to get in somehow. And just only because I know that we have so much beauty to offer and I need them to see that without any layer of bias. That was my issue. So it is hard to break through 100,000%, but you got to find, a way to communicate. You have to find a way to speak to someone, man. You got to put a hand out, right? You got to say, hey, you from the West, let me show you something beautiful from my culture. You will never listen to Abdul Halim Hafiz. You will never do that. That's not your vibe. You'll just turn it off. You'll think it's like some weird alien thing. So let me show you a little bit of piece of that. And we've changed the world with it. We had a song called Yeah Habibi that today everyone in North America literally knows Yeah Habibi.
You launched it in Dubai.
Launched it in Dubai.
What was it, 2016? 15?
No, earlier.
Earlier?
2009.
Yalla
Yalla
Habibi, I
Habibi
remember.
was 2009. That was,
you did it without a cap.
I did.
And you were like
one
wearing
time,
that. You
the
were
suit.
wearing that suit.
Yeah. I always told myself at some point, I love my style and I love the way it is, but at some point I got to be real with it and just be like, me, But khalas, style. Music is about style, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Also, people want to know who, what you're styling and what you're wearing. So to me, I was myself and I like being this guy.
Yeah, that song did really well in Dubai. I remember. It was
Incredible.
played everywhere.
It was that song was a pioneering song. That song was #1 on iTunes in Canada. That was the first time in North America you have an Arabic title as #1.
Yeah.
To me, that was my big win. I was like, all right, we're winning.
We're sitting with the legend right here, guys. You have no idea. Karl Wolf, thank you so much, mate.
Man, thank you for having me.
Habibi.
This is
Allah.
amazing, and I love the questions, and they're so deep. It's perfect.
This is a moment, and it's like a milestone in our show to have you, international artist. I mean, all the guests we had were amazing people and everything, and experts and good people in their own rights. But to have you on the show was a dream for me.
Wow.
Because I told you, I was in Iraq, in my small little town, and I was listening to you. I was like, how to get in touch with this guy?
Right.
How to have him on the show? No, when we started it, so it was like,
incredible.
It was amazing.
Can I give you a compliment as well, man? You're amazing at what you do, and I see your passion for it. And you're not a lot of people are connected that deeply with other. I'm always in shock when anyone cares about what I do, and it's really a beautiful thing because it's honestly you're taking me like a reflection of my life and what I've created, and I never think about it like that. We're always thinking of the new, and I rarely go to the past for anything. So, and to be even noticed and seen that way is really special to me. Like thank you for this moment.
Habibi, of course, and you're an inspiration to me. That is why, and all the things you said today, that I learned so much from you. Because when I see something that you do, and then now you're explaining it to me, it makes sense to me. These are lessons.
Right.
You editing in that small room,
right.
Nobody notices. I've had moments like that in my life, but like this is a different level. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I've learned so much from you.
Yeah, you've changed me, man. You made me feel something really cool, man. With this
Habibi,
thing.
Wallah, I told you, I'm a fan. I'm proud to say I'm a huge fan, Wallah.
You have no idea what it means to me.
Habibi,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.